All right, here we go. What a joy. What a night to be doing a show by myself. The first time, I think, maybe ever, that Chatterbox Reds will be hosted solo. And I have the honor to do that. Welcome in, everybody. Reds trailing the St. Louis Cardinals 7-0. Ellie reaches to lead off the top of the ninth with a walk. And boy, oh boy, appreciate y'all being here. I'm sure on a Saturday night at 9:30, you have a lot of better things to do with your time than watch the Reds get pummeled by a division opponent. But nonetheless, here we go. Yeah, just call me Stone. Stone does this every single day by himself. Certainly, I can do one half-hour show by myself. I think we can get through this. I think. Yeah, I agree, Spooky. This is going to be, I texted the group chat. I said, look, of all the nights to have to do a show by myself, tonight might be the night. So we're going to get through it. We're going to do our best. We're going to talk about the game. We're going to talk about Hunter Greene. Talk about this offense, this putrid offense. We'll just hang out. Who knows? Sal Stewart up now, ahead 3-1. No Ned. No Ned. I have theories. We'll talk about them. Okay, Sal. Sal with a base hit to right field. Ellie will just go station to station and move up to second base. Gordon Graceffo on the mound for the Cardinals. Certainly helps when the pitcher doesn't throw a lot of strikes. Hey, Rave, rookies reported today to camp. So does that mean it's officially football season? It might. It might. Blade at the plate now behind 2-0. Yeah, I feel like I'm doing a Bengals game, doing a little play-by-play. Just by myself, hanging out with Nutcutter Nation, the best fans there are. Ball 3-0 now. How long will Ollie Marmol roll with Gordon Graceffo as he's now behind 3-0 to JJ Bleday? I mean, you've got a 7-0 lead. The last thing I'm sure Marmol wants to do is burn his bullpen in a game like this. But there it is, a 4-pitch walk to Bleday. And the Reds have the bases loaded here in the top of the ninth, trying to make things interesting. And I'll go ahead and say it because let's be honest, it's not going to happen. I'll go ahead and say it. Wouldn't it be so fitting of all nights for the Reds to have a massive comeback in the ninth inning for it to be tonight? Allow me one-on-one with you to enjoy this moment. Who are we kidding? Who are we kidding? Bases loaded, though. Nobody out. Ooh, they are getting up Riley O'Brien. That's, again, kind of big. O'Brien is their closer. And I'm sure Marmol had no intentions of using him tonight, especially once they had that big 7th inning. Eugenio Suarez now up to bat 0 for 3 on the night is Suarez. Takes a look at strike one from Graceffo, a fastball at the top of the zone. And the slider catches the bottom of the plate for strike two. Now all of a sudden, Gordon Graceffo, who just walked JJ Bleday on 4 straight, is ahead 0-2 on Eugenio Suarez. Ball in the dirt. Suarez leads off. The 2-2 to Gino. Inside corner. That looked like strike 3, and it was. All right, Suarez down looking. First out of the inning. And I got to be honest with you. We'll talk about it during the show, but all Graceffo has to do here is get past Tyler Stevenson, and this game's over. Doesn't really matter what Tyler Stevenson does. He could hit a grand slam right here, and I'd have zero confidence in the bottom 4 of this order doing anything. Now Graceffo wants a new ball with 3 on the pitch clock. Graceffo's first pitch in the dirt to Tyler Stevenson. 0 for 3, but Stevenson's been hot this month. See if he can keep it going a little bit. Obviously, lots of questions about Tyler Stevenson's future on this team as he swings at a ball up in the zone, fouls it away 1-1. Talked about it on the show last night, did Kirby and Mike Hart. Obviously, Tyler Stevenson, with the limited catchers that are expected to be available at this trade deadline, maybe one of the most sought after. And he's done a lot this month to try and drive that value up as he looks at strike 2 right down the middle. So far in July, Tyler Stevenson hitting .356 with an OPS north of 900. Check swing there. Did he go? He did. Strike 3. Stevenson out. And that will most likely do it, as if you had any hope to begin with. We now go to Noelvi Marte. Marte over 3 on the night. Ground out, line out, line out as the crowd rises to their feet. Wouldn't it be just like Noelvi Marte to hit a grand slam here, though? A completely meaningless home run to give us some hope that, hey, maybe he can figure something out. Fouls the first pitch away, and Graceffo's ahead early. Fastball's up. Meanwhile, with this lack of offense, Marte, Friedel, Arroyo, Hayes at the bottom combined 0 for 12 on the night. Not to pour salt in the wounds, but CES having some fun over in Baltimore as that ball is hit towards third base. Fielded, throw, scoop by Burleson. Reds leave him stranded in the 9th. They fall 7-0. Let's see how a show by herself goes. See you guys in 4.
Bench to bench. Change hit in the air to deep right field. Back goes Pallante. It's a save. He's done. Get out of here, baseball. He scored. Oh, my God. Can you believe
believe it. Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep.
In the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Here comes Walker. The Reds win the pennant.
Larkins won the game.
That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none.
Welcome Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Hatteberg's a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive. Hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club.
Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb.
Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again.
The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive. Left center field. Racing back to the line. Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did. He did. Reds win. Win. Line into right field. Genius, the first Red ever. With 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Doesn't have a chance. The Reds have won on a 3-run home run opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, God. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win it. What a dream beginning to a career of Trey Bruce.
All right. Welcome in, Chatterbox Reds. I'm your host for the evening, Craig Sandlin, going solo for this one. We're going to do our best to, I don't know, break it down, chat a little bit about what happened tonight. But let's be honest, if I'm going to have to do a show by myself, this is 100% the type of show that I was hoping to have to do, is one where there really wasn't a whole lot of action offensively for the Reds. Honestly, Hunter Greene didn't pitch poorly for the first 5+ innings, and then things just fell apart for him there in the 7th. We'll talk about that as well, along with this offense, and certainly understand putting out a lineup that is focused on defense when you have Hunter Greene on the bump. Same thing that I would expect them to do with Chase Burns on the bump, but didn't work out for them tonight. Bottom 4 of the lineup, basically nothing. Reds manage, just 3 hits on the game, and all 3 of those hits came from the top 3 in the order. Ellie had a hit, Sal had a hit, and JJ Bleday had a hit. Other than that, the rest of the lineup, It was ugly. 0 for 21 on the day against a guy in Andre Pallante that, quite frankly, has no business doing that to you. And yet here we are. It seems like every single time the Cincinnati Reds face Andre Pallante, he finds a way to do exactly what he did tonight. Let's break it all down for you here in tonight's box score recap. Chatterbox Reds is brought to you by Sharefax Credit Union. Sharefax is a not-for-profit financial institution owned by its members. They return earnings to the members through lower fees and better rates, in addition to traditional banking options. Sharefax Credit Union is an equal opportunity lender and is insured by NCUA. Game 2 in St. Louis against the Cardinals. Reds killer Andre Pallante takes on Hunter Greene. Cardinals get on the board early as the first 3 men reach against Hunter Greene to start the game, including an error on Elly De La Cruz and 2 soft bloops. Cards lead 1-0. It was a pitcher's duel for the next 4+ innings, but the Cardinals broke it wide open in the bottom of the 6th. After Hunter Greene retired 14 of 15 batters he faced heading into the inning, 7 of the first 8 Cardinals reached to start the inning, including a 2 RBI double by Ivan Herrera, an RBI single by Brian Torres, and a 2 RBI single by Blaze Jordan. Hunter's day was over, yielding to Sam Maul with 2 on and 1 out. Nathan Church laid down a perfect bunt to score another run, driving the Cardinals' lead to 7-0. By the time it was all said and done, the final line on the day for Hunter Greene, 5 1/3, 8 hits, 7 runs, 6 of them earned, 2 walks, and just 3 strikeouts. Sam Maul and Chase Petty kept the score kept the score at 7-0. Reds load the bases on Gordon Graceffo in the 9th, but are unable to score. Reds lose 7-0 and fall to 48-55 on the season. And obviously, when we're talking about 3 hits on the night, not a whole lot of options for a deep drive of the game. So we head all the way down to Dayton. Yep, you heard me correctly. All the way down to Dayton, where baby boy Tyson Lewis hits his 4th home run of the season. It was his 2nd in as many games for the Dragons. No data on this one, so I have no idea how far it went, how hard it was hit, or anything of the nature. It did give the Dragons a 3-1 lead over Cedar Rapids at the time in the bottom of the 4th. You'll have to stick around to find out how that game ended when we do our MILB update at the end of the show. The deep drive of the day is brought to you by Braxton Brewing Company, the official craft beer partner of the Cincinnati Reds. Crack open a Ballpark Beer, crisp, German-style light beer crafted perfectly for 9 innings and hot summer nights. Grab a cold one at Great American Ballpark, Braxton Taprooms, or your local retailer. Braxton Brewing, brewed for Reds country. And Braxton Brewing is proud to present Cincinnati's biggest golf event of the summer. The $100,000 prize pool 2-person scramble is back. The Chatterbox Championship is now accepting teams, featuring a brand new format with 2 divisions designed for fair competition. Sign your team up today at 513golf.com. All right, let's get into it. Hunter Greene, look, for the first 5+ innings was stellar. Allowed just the 1 unearned run, had basically held the St. Louis Cardinals in check, had retired 14 of 15 straight Cardinals, allowing just a double in the 3rd inning to Jordan Walker. Other than that, no other Cardinal reached for 4+ innings. And then, of course, you get to the 6th. And it starts with J.J. Weatherholt. Walks to start off the inning, and then you get Jordan Walker to pop out on a foul ball to Tyler Stevenson. But then Alec Burleson singles, Ivan Herrera with a double, then Lars Nootbaar walks, Mason Wynn singles, Brian Torres singles, Blaze Jordan singles. And a little bit similar to the first inning, it was just balls that happened to find the outfield. It wasn't necessarily balls that were hit overly hard. It wasn't necessarily balls that were scorched by any means. But at the end of the day, they found the grass and they were able to take advantage of that. And as a result, the Cardinals able to put 6 runs on the board in the 6th inning. And I was talking with some people in the group chat trying to figure out what happened. And I have 2 theories here, and obviously with the chat being my backbone here tonight, I'm interested to hear what you guys think too. There's two theories I have, and I'm not sure which one is more probable at this point. There's obviously a third theory too that we can talk about, but maybe less probable. The first theory that I have is maybe the Cardinals just picked up on something. Maybe after 5 innings, they realized Hunter Greene was tipping his pitch in some way. Obviously we had that issue with him with the Dodgers last playoffs. Did the Cardinals find something? Was Hunter Greene wearing down and ultimately just kind of lost it? That's also a possibility. The other thing that I noticed, and I tweeted about it, I'm not sure if anybody else picked up on it. I think it was in the 4th inning-ish. I could be wrong, but I think it was in the 4th inning. At one point, Hunter Greene turned around on the mound like pretty quickly and like shook his wrist, his right wrist, his throwing hand, and looked down at it as if he was in pain. I don't know if that was, at the time I thought maybe he had a blister pop up similar to Nick Lodolo. Maybe something happened to his wrist. Maybe something happened to a finger. I don't know, but there certainly seemed to be at that point some sort of something that popped up for Hunter Greene. Now, did that continue throughout the game, and that's why he struggled there in the 6th? Maybe he just lost it. Was it a case of him tipping pitches? Was it something else? Obviously he's coming back. He was off for 3+ months after having surgery this offseason. Only did 3 rehab starts, 1 down in Arizona and then 2 with the AAA. So it's certainly possible that maybe he just isn't stretched out yet. Maybe he was in a rush to get back and he's starting to wear down a little bit. His velocity tonight was certainly down compared to outings past. In a warm night there in St. Louis, that's something that you wouldn't necessarily expect. You'd expect him to be more warmed up than ever and be able to get his muscles loose and ready to go. But his fastball velocity tonight on the year, it averages 98.7. Tonight goes 97.2, down 1.5 miles. His slider was down 2.2 miles per hour. The sinker, which he threw 11 times, down 1.3 miles per hour. And the splitter, which he didn't throw a whole lot, down 1.6 miles per hour. So I don't know exactly what it is, and I'm not looking to make an excuse. Maybe the Cardinals just started to see him better and started to square him up the 3rd time through. That's certainly a possibility. It started in the 6th inning on that 3rd time through the lineup. So maybe that's what happened, but it certainly didn't feel like Hunter Greene had the location that he typically has in order to put guys away. Only 3 strikeouts on the night is certainly not necessarily Hunter Greene style baseball traditionally. So I don't know. Only whiffs on 24% of the swings is certainly down compared to what we normally expect from Hunter Greene. But nonetheless, that 6th inning got away from him. I personally was surprised that Terry Francona stayed with him as long as they did. Not saying that I thought he should have pulled him before the inning, but certainly felt like as that inning went on that Hunter just didn't have it. Maybe it's after the walk against Lars Nootbaar. Maybe it's after the double against Ivan Herrera. Maybe it's something else. I don't know, but it just felt like at that point in the game, it was still close. Try and keep it close to try and give your offense an opportunity to get back into this game. And Terry Francona chose to stick with Hunter Greene. He faces 8 batters in the inning, and an inning where you only retired 1 guy. It didn't feel like that was a typical Terry Francona decision. Certainly didn't feel like a decision that made sense in the moment for how you're trying to, at least if you're the Reds, trying to get back into contention and try and win yet another series against a division opponent, try to get back into that wild card hunt, as we're now 2 days away, at least according to Nick Krall, from the Reds starting to have conversations internally about what exactly they're going to do at this deadline. He's already said that he's willing to listen to everybody, but the truth of the matter is that they also said they're going to meet on Monday to determine exactly what that outcome was. So I don't know. I certainly don't expect Hunter Greene to give up 6 earned runs in a majority of his outings, but that was just the way it is. So it is what it is, and we move on. So I want to address a couple of things in the chat. Again, I'm doing this solo tonight, so let's go ahead and involve the chat a little bit. And I'll start with one of the more recent ones about how 2 years ago I was a big Terry Francona lover. I admit it. The night that Terry Francona was hired, I grabbed this World Series hat. I put it on and I thought that we were back. I did. And then I talked to Guardians fans, a lot of Guardians fans, and they were like, look, man, I know he's a Hall of Fame manager, but just be weary. I'm not so sure that he's still got it. I'm not so sure that he's really up to date with the modern baseball game. And certainly the more I watch the Reds, the more I start to think that those guys may have been right. So yes, I admit it. I was a big Terry lover. I was excited about the hire. And so far, I've been very disappointed with that. Not only the outcomes, but just how he's managed and how he's gone about his job. So it is what it is. I don't have any decision-making process in that. But from my perspective, Tito is not a manager that I'd want of my favorite baseball team in the year 2026. I also saw people in there saying, stop making excuses for Hunter Greene. I don't really know that any of these were like excuses. I'm just trying to figure out what happened, right? Like I'm sitting here talking about a baseball game. My job here is to talk about the game and talk about what happened and figure it out. If you guys would rather, I'm perfectly fine with this being a 5-minute show saying, look, Reds stunk it up. Hunter Greene gave up too many runs. The offense did nothing, and boom, show's over. That's perfectly fine if that's what you guys want. But look, Nutcutter Nation has been amazing to us over the years. And so I feel at least a certain level of obligation to sit here and have a conversation about how tonight went. And if that's not what you're interested in tonight and you just want to play poor, pitiful me and say, look, the Reds are terrible and I can't wait for them to sell off all 7 of their expiring contracts and I hope they move even some of the other ones, then that's fine too. But for me personally, like my job is to tell the story of the game. And a big story of this game, obviously, was Hunter Greene. And I think it's fair to the show to have the conversations about what happened. And there's been a lot of rumors about Hunter Greene being a candidate to be traded and to listen to all offers. Nick Kroll said the other day that you've got to listen to all offers. Hunter Greene's been rumored to be on the move now for 2 years. And there's been rumors of rifts behind the scenes between Hunter Greene and Terry Francona and this organization, and whether it was about how he managed his return last year from injury. Maybe that played into his expedited return from injury this year. Obviously, he missed 3 months, but again, expedited return. So I would be shocked. I'll say this. I'll be shocked if Hunter Greene is moved. I don't think coming off an injury, 3-4 starts after an injury, that a team is going to pay the type of price that would justify moving Hunter Greene at this point. I think it's much more likely that you get an offer that justifies moving someone like Hunter or like Nick Lodolo, obviously Brady Singer. I think there's a conversation to be had about Rhett Lauder, but if we're being honest, Rhett Lauder has been so bad. Again, if you have belief in him, then you're not going to get any sort of offer for him that makes sense either. So the Reds are at an interesting point in this deadline where you've got 7 players that there's zero conversation should be shopped and should not be on this team come August 4th. But there's other decisions to be made. And at the end of the day, they keep talking about wanting to improve this team for 2027 and make sure that they're contenders for 2027. It's going to take a lot to make this team a contender for 2027. I love the core. I really do. I truly believe that the core that this Cincinnati Reds have with Hunter Greene, Chase Burns, Sal Stewart, and Elly De La Cruz, that they've got the pieces already in place to have a nice core to build around. You go out and you added a veteran bat in Nathaniel Lowe and Eugenio Suarez that haven't necessarily panned out. They're going to have to replace some of that offense. But man, the bottom part of this lineup is horrendous. And we'll talk about that on the back half in just a couple minutes. But first, as always, we want to remind you that engagement ring shopping should feel exciting, because it is. At Richter and Phillips Jewelers, their team makes the entire process easy and stress-free. You don't need to know anything going in. They'll walk you through diamonds, ring settings, and every detail step-by-step in a relaxed, no-pressure environment. Whether you're shopping big or working within a budget, they'll help you find a perfect ring and make sure you leave feeling confident and excited, not overwhelmed. Richter and Phillips has been helping Cincinnati couples get engaged for more than 130 years. They've been doing it longer than the Bengals have been a team. Book your appointment today using the link in our YouTube description or podcast description. All right, let's talk about the bottom of this lineup. And I think we all knew going in that expectations were and should be low for this bottom four, but Edwin Arroyo, Noelvi Marte, TJ Friedel, Ke'Bryan Hayes. Yeah, probably your best defensive lineup in terms of putting them behind Hunter Greene. Make sure that you guys don't give up any runs that you shouldn't, because you're already hopefully not going to be giving up a ton of runs. Obviously, it didn't happen in the sixth, but you put out your best defensive lineup behind Hunter, and unfortunately, what that means is you got Edwin Arroyo with a 254 batting average, Noelvi Marte hitting 190, TJ Friedel 173, and Ke'Bryan Hayes coming in at 146. WRC plus, I know not everybody's analytics people, but WRC plus of that bottom four, 62, 58, 44, and 9. That is not an offensive lineup that is going to do a whole lot of damage when your highest OPS is Noelvi Marte at 588. That is not a good recipe for success. And as I mentioned before, what happened? Well, outside of the top 3 batters tonight, you went 0 for 21. Eugenio Suarez 0 for 4, Tyler Stevenson 0 for 4, Noelvi Marte 0 for 4, TJ Friedel 0 for 3, Arroyo 0 for 3, and Ke'Bryan Hayes 0 for 3. Ellie De La Cruz did work a walk in this one there in the 9th inning to get on base. But other than that, Reds batters didn't really make Andre Pallante work a whole lot in this one. Pallante goes 7 innings and throws just 90 pitches on the evening. Reds batters unable to do a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. Exit velocity, ugly. Top exit velocity, imagine this. Ke'Bryan Hayes. Ke'Bryan Hayes with your top exit velocity. Just 2 balls hit over 96 miles an hour on the night. It was that Ke'Bryan Hayes line out in the 5th inning and Ellie De La Cruz's single in the 3rd. Other than that, not a whole lot of hard hit balls. Pallante just gave up 3 on the day. It wasn't a good outing for this offense. And if this Reds team wants to get back into it, which again, I know a lot of people in the chat have zero desire to really get back into it. I really understand that. But man, if the Reds team really wants to get back into it, they've got to do something offensively. And I don't know if that's something at AAA. Michael Tolia has been pretty good all year for Louisville. I don't know, but something's got to happen. He's got an 899 OPS down there at Louisville, and obviously a lot of offensive experience. But again, he's a first baseman. So what do you do with Sal in that scenario? Is it H-Rod who Hector Rodriguez has kind of cooled off a little bit? He's got an 870 OPS, but 0 for 5 tonight. I don't know what that answer is. I really don't. I firmly believe that I think the answer is external at this point. Unfortunately, this Reds organization does not have a whole lot of organizational depth. There's not a whole lot of players that you look at and you're like, wow, I'm excited about that guy in 2026 or in 2027 and maybe even 2028 that are going to be able to come up and really make an impact. I'd love to see Hector Rodriguez make an impact. Obviously, they brought Ivan Johnson up earlier this year. Michael Toglia has been really good down in Louisville, and maybe he gets a shot at some point. But as long as you have Sal Stewart and Cabrian Hayes, it's really hard to see him getting every day at bats. So it's just tough. I don't know what the answer is. I certainly hope that there's an answer that maybe I just am not aware of or am missing. But, man, you look up and down this organization, and there's just not a whole lot that jumps out at you as saying, wow, I can't wait for that guy to get to the MLB. Certainly, we're all excited about Alfredo Duno. I get that. But they're going to take their time with him. I know he's in Chattanooga now. I just think that they're going to take their time and be patient with him. I would be shocked to see him at the major league level before 2029. Personally, maybe you see him midway through 2028, but that could just be me. So I don't know. It'll be really interesting to see how many, if any, of the current Reds top prospects make it to the majors, or at least in a way that's beneficial and impactful, right? Duno is your top prospect there at AA. Steele Hall is your number 2 prospect down in rookie ball in Arizona. Hector Rodriguez certainly had a chance to be called up this year, but they chose not to. Tyson Lewis in Dayton is years away. Aaron Watson, the right-handed pitcher out in Arizona, years away. Shang-In Lin down in Daytona, years away, if ever. Libert's Aponte in the Dominican League. Hirvin Murillo in the Dominican League. Like, there were just so many guys that are so far away from really being impactful on this team. And so if the Reds firmly believe that they can be competitive in 2027, which Nick Krall is at least putting out that message that they want to be competitive, something's got to happen externally. And I don't know what to really hope for, because I just don't believe that this organization will do the necessary things to make it happen. Now, I think that the Reds could be really benefited by a CBA change, but I don't know what that's going to look like either. I think we're probably looking at a lockout at some point next year. How long that lasts, I don't know. I really don't. But revenue shares should help the Reds in that respect. It's just a matter of, will they then turn around and spend those revenues? Will the MLB implement a floor? Will they implement a salary cap? I don't know, but it is deflating at times if you really look up and down this organization to try and picture long-term success. And the question got asked by Spooky Ghost in the chat: do I think anyone will get fired? No, I don't think anybody gets fired. Here's where I think. I could be completely wrong. I think Terry probably retires at the end of the year. I think that he recognizes that this team is a long way away from being successful. I think he was hoping that they could parlay that playoff run last year, some key offseason signings this year, into some success. And I think he's seeing that that's more likely than not going to be more difficult than he expected. And I don't know that he has it in him to continue to go through this. I think he has 1 year left on his initial contract, which tells me that he wasn't necessarily looking to be here long-term to begin with. And so my gut is that you'll probably have a new manager next year. You may have a new pitching coach. I honestly don't know what's going on with Derek Johnson. I don't want to speculate, but I know a lot of people have been asking the question of what's going on there. I really don't know. I don't know what's going on there, and I refuse to spread any of the rumors that we're seeing out there because we don't know what's true. And at the end of the day, to be fair to the humans that are wearing that jersey, I'm going to stay out of that conversation until there's some sort of reliable report. But my gut right now is that we'll be looking for a new manager and we'll be looking for a new pitching coach. And if you do have a new manager, then maybe, and I know a lot of people in the chat would like this, but maybe you get a new hitting coach while you're at it. My gut is that Mike Napoli is going to be your manager next year. I think that that's been kind of the plan, is that Mike Napoli would take over for Terry whenever that happens. I wouldn't be shocked to see Freddie retire at that point too. Freddie's been through however many managers at this point. He's been around for a long time. He's interviewed for the head job, and he's been passed over year after year. So in terms of like firings, I don't know that you necessarily are going to have a whole lot of firings, but that doesn't mean you don't have turnover. And I think those are two very different things. But that's kind of my gut right now, is that there will be a lot of turnover. But I don't know that any of it will be firings. And then of course the follow-up to that comment is that I don't know that any of that will be in the front office. And I think probably if I were to poll this chat right now, I think more people would prefer to see a change in the front office than they would to see a change in the dugout. Maybe we can make that our poll question of the night. Give me a second and I'll create a little poll question and we'll see. If you were, not if you were, but as a Cincinnati Reds fan, and all of you must be because you're here at 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday, listening to a one-man show ramble about the Cincinnati Reds. But I'm going to start a little poll and say, if you had to choose just one, would you rather change in front office, change in dugout? And let's see, which would you rather see? So if you'd rather see change in the front office, meaning Nick Kroll, the scouts, etc., vote for the front office. If you'd rather see a change in the dugout, meaning your manager, your coaches, then vote for that. All right. Got a couple super chats that we're going to get to while that poll runs. And I appreciate all of you tuning in. Of course, the fact that I even have 100 people in here watching this is insane to me, but I appreciate you nonetheless. Ned Flanders, Craig, if you want to shut it down and just drink beer, no one here will say a word. Just leave the chat up. One of the great things about this chat, and I appreciate you all, even throughout the entire game. This is a 7-0 ball game, and you guys are still in here engaging with the community, chatting it up, and we certainly appreciate that. As always, remind you that we also have our Chatterbox Discord, which I will put a link in the chat to. I would hope that everybody that's watching this show is already in there, but just in case you're not, I'll go ahead and throw an invite link in the chat for you now to join, just in case. And then Michael Rolfe, man, Rolfe, we love you. We really do. Craig is flying solo. I love the honesty. A $50 super bomb from Rolfe. Rolfe, we appreciate you tuning in and hanging out with us as always. But man, what a night to have to do a show by myself. And yeah, let's let that poll run for a couple more minutes. In the meantime, we'll do our MILB update, and then we will look ahead to tomorrow's game, the series finale. All right, Reds MILB is brought to you by 78 Cigars. Cincinnati legend Anthony Munoz has a new venture, and we are fired up to partner with it here on Chatterbox Reds. Introducing 78 Cigars, a premium cigar line from the Hall of Famer himself. If you love great cigars, Cincinnati football history. This is the perfect combination. You can grab 78 cigars right now at both Montgomery Inn locations or over at Creekside Cigar Company. You can also check them out online. Just head to anthonymunoz.com, click on the 78 cigars page and learn more or place your order today. That's 78 cigars from the greatest offensive lineman to ever do it, Anthony Munoz. All right, let's take a look at today's MILB rundown. Louisville Bats got out to a 3-0 lead in the top of the first, but they fall 9-4 to the Toledo Mud Hens. For the Bats, Jose Acuna goes just 3 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, all of them earned, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Sam Ben-Scoter, 2 1/3, 3 hits, 4 runs, walked 3 on the day, and struck out 3 as well. Luis May pitched a scoreless, hitless inning. He did walk 1 while striking out 2, and then Trevor Kunsel, 1 inning of no hit, no walk, 1 strikeout baseball. On the offensive side, Ivan Johnson 0 for 4. Matt McClain continues his rehab assignment. He was 2 for 4 on the night. He's hitting .429. He had a double again tonight. That's 2 doubles, 1 in each of the last 2 nights. He was the DH tonight. He'll play second base tomorrow, and then they will evaluate from there what to do. Hector Rodriguez 0 for 5. Will Benson goes 2 for 3 at the plate. He had a double as well. Michael Tolia 1 for 4. And Dominic Patelli 1 for 4, and he had a double as well as the Bats lose. The Chattanooga Lookouts are currently in the 9th inning. They're looking to close this one out. So we're going to come back to it and see if they can go final here while we run down the rest of the games. Dayton Dragons are 8-2 winners over Cedar Rapids. Mentioned that game earlier with Tyson Lewis hitting a home run. Peyton Stovall 0 for 4 in this one. Ryan McChrystal 1 for 3. Jacob Friend was 2 for 3 with a double. Jacob Friend also had a home run, his 10th of the season. Ryan McChrystal 1 for 4. Tyson Lewis 3 for 4 with that home run. And then Mason Neville 1 for 4 in that one. The Tortugas, they fell to the Threshers 8-7 on Saturday evening. Bernard Moon goes 2 for 4 in this one. He had a double. Other than that, not a whole lot of action. Kyle Henley also 2 for 3. Rafael Torres 2 for 5. And on the mound, Mason Morris, the Reds' 3rd-round draft pick in 2025. Well, he went 3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 7 runs, 6 of them earned. He walked 4 on the night while striking out just 2. His ERA now up to 6.18 on the season. The DSL Reds fell to the DSL Athletics 8-2. Angel Salillo 3 for 5 on the day. And Wanderley De La Cruz went 1 for 4. He hit his 2nd home run of the season. Meanwhile, the DSL Rojos, they fall 5-0 to the DSL Brewers Blue. Angel Nunez 0 for 3. Hernandez goes 1 for 3 with a double, his 4th of the year. And let's see if it went final. It did. The Chattanooga Lookouts, they are 8-4 winners over Biloxi. Offensively, Carlos Sanchez 1 for 2 with a triple. Yerlin Confidant homered in a 2 for 4 effort. Leo Balcazar doubled. He was 1 for 5. Kien Vu doubled. He was 1 for 3. Ruben Ibarra hit his 14th double of the season as well. He was 1 for 5 on the night. Alfredo Duno 0 for 5. That's your Reds MILB update. As we take a look now at our poll question of the night. Let's see how the votes came in. Oh, all right. Not a surprise. I think this is kind of what I expected, but not a surprise here. The question was, if you had to choose just one, would you rather there be a change in the front office or a change in the dugout? 83% of you said that you'd rather see a change in the front office. Just 17% said in the dugout. All right, got another super chat that came in from Michael Rolfe. Appreciate you, Michael, as always. $10 super chat. There's a better chance of 78 cigars being lit in the Reds front office burning down GABP than them enjoying them due to their success running a professional baseball team. Look, all year long, Trace was talking last year about how he wanted to light up a cigar when we got into the playoffs. He had a cigar ready to go. Finally, we were able to light it up. Man, this year it was, well, we'll light it up when we win a playoff series. When we win a playoff series, boy, oh boy. I know 78 cigars are high quality cigars. Boy, I don't know if they're that high quality. Will they last long enough for us to smoke one once the Reds actually advance in the playoffs? That's a big ask. All right, let's take a look at tomorrow's matchup. Reds and Cardinals back at it on Sunday. Reds looking to earn their third straight series win of the second half as they wrap up the series with the Cardinals on Sunday with a matchup featuring Kyle Leahy and Andrew Abbott. Abbott is 5-6 on the year with a 3.89 ERA. Last time out against Seattle on the 20th, he went 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, no earned, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. In his career, he's faced St. Louis 9 times. He's 4-4 with a 3.94 ERA. He hasn't faced him yet in 2026, but in 2025, he went 1-2 against them with a 2.61 ERA. Ivan Herrera's 4-8. Pedro Pages is 3-8. Nathan Church 1-4. Alec Burleson 2-12. Mason Wynn 2-17 with a double. Lars Nootbaar 1-12 with a double. Struck out 7 times. Jordan Walker 0-12 with 6 strikeouts against Abbott. And Jose Fermin 0-2. Meanwhile, Kyle Leahy is 5-3 on the year with a 4.25 ERA. His last 5 starts, he's been unbelievable. He's 2-0 in those starts with a 0.71 ERA. He's allowed just 2 earned runs over his last 25 1/3 innings pitched. His last time out against the Angels of Anaheim, he went 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. However, as good as he's been in the last 5 starts, he's been equally bad against the Reds. He's got a 10 total games against the Reds with a 7.11 career ERA. Now, keep in mind, 8 of those 10 games were in relief appearance. He started against the Reds twice already here in 2026 and has an 8.00 ERA in those 2 starts. Nathaniel Lowe's 3-8 with a home run. Ellie's 1-4 with a home run. TJ Friedel 1-3 with a home run. Sal Stewart 3-4 with a double. Eugenio Suarez 2-5. Steer 1-7. Stevenson 1-6 with a double. Welby Marte 1-5. He throws 6 pitches: a 4-seamer, curveball, slider, sinker, changeup, and sweeper. His fastball average is 94.1, and batters are hitting just 177 in 62 at-bats against his curveball. First pitch scheduled for 2:15 p.m. Eastern there in St. Louis. Chatterbox Reds, of course, live at 9 p.m. here on YouTube. Trace and Nick back at it, and I'm sure there will be lots of continuing conversations about the trade deadline, along with a whole lot else as they break down that game on Sunday night. All right, everybody, that's going to do it for me. I've been talking now for almost an hour straight to myself, and I appreciate you all kind of engaging with me in the chat. Really do appreciate you guys hanging out. I know this isn't the best show that we've ever put out there, I don't think, but I certainly know that we have the best fans, and that is not going to change. So I'd like to say for somebody else, but for myself, I'm Craig Sandlin. This has been Chatterbox Reds. Till next time, everybody, we appreciate you tuning in as always. Oh, let's get better tomorrow. Go Reds.